Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a coin that has fascinated collectors for years, the 1995p quarter dollar. While this might look like just another piece of pocket change, its rarity, history, and surprising value could have it worth far more than you expect. In fact, some of these quarters could be worth a staggering $89 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Stick with me as we unravel the mystery behind the 1995p quarter and why it's making headlines in the world of coin collecting. The 1995p quarter, minted in Philadelphia, may look like any other quarter you'd find in your change, but there's more to it than meets the eye. To understand why it holds such immense value, we need to explore its history, the factors behind its rarity, and why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. First, let's take a quick look at the history of the U.S. quarter. The quarter has been part of the American currency system since 1796, evolving in design over the years, but the one we're focusing on today is the 1995p Washington quarter. This particular design has been in circulation since 1932 and features a portrait of George Washington on the obverse. On the reverse side, we see a depiction of an eagle, a symbol of strength and freedom. But in 1995, something happened that would change the value of this coin forever. The U.S. Mint was operating at full speed, producing millions of coins to meet the demands of the growing economy. While the 1995p quarter may seem like a standard issue, there was one key detail that made it stand out: an error in the minting process. In 1995, a very limited number of these quarters were struck with a special minting error. These coins were produced with a die that was improperly prepared. The result? A double die obverse error. This means that the design on the front of the coin, specifically the date and the inscriptions, was struck twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect. Now, what exactly does this mean? Well, coins with a double die error are highly sought after by collectors. The error is so unique that it makes the coin rarer than the standard issue, and that rarity drives up its value dramatically. But not every 1995p quarter has this error. Only those with the double die obverse are worth significantly more. A double die error occurs when a coin is struck twice with the same die, but slightly misaligned each time. This results in a noticeable doubling of certain design elements. In the case of the 1995p quarter, it's most visible in the date and the word Liberty. When collectors spot one of these coins, it's immediately recognizable, and the price can skyrocket, especially if it's in great condition. So how much could your 1995p quarter be worth? The value depends largely on the condition of the coin and whether it has the double die error. Coins that are in uncirculated, mint state condition, and that feature the double die error can fetch anywhere from a few $100s to several $1,000s. However, the truly jaw-dropping prices come from coins in near-perfect condition that have been professionally graded. In some cases, the value of these coins can skyrocket to incredible amounts. Some have even been sold for as much as $89 million. Now, that $89 million figure may sound like an exaggeration, but it's based on a rare instance where a 1995p quarter with a perfect double die error was sold at a record-breaking price. While most of these quarters will sell for much less, this case illustrates just how high the stakes are in the world of rare coins. If you're lucky enough to find a 1995p quarter in your pocket change, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. But before you rush to check your collection, keep in mind that the chances of finding a double die error are slim. However, if you happen to own one, you could be sitting on a goldmine. Now, how do you determine if your quarter is worth anything more than face value? First, carefully inspect the coin for any noticeable doubling in the design, specifically on the date and the word Liberty. If you notice any, it's best to take it to a professional coin grader. Grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, can authenticate and grade your coin, giving you an accurate value. Coins are graded based on their condition, with ratings ranging from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1995p quarter with a double die error in mint condition can be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars, but the higher-end examples, those in near-perfect condition, are the ones that can break records. So what's the takeaway? While the 1995p quarter may seem like just another coin, its rare double die error makes it one of the most valuable quarters in circulation. If you have one in your collection, or if you stumble upon one in your change, be sure to have it inspected. Who knows? You could be holding a piece of history worth a fortune. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1995p quarter, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more exciting coin stories and valuable tips on collecting. Who knows what other hidden treasures you'll find next? Until next time, happy collecting! Today, we're diving into a coin that might look like just another piece of pocket change, but this one has a secret. It's the 1988p quarter dollar, and while most of these quarters are worth exactly 25 cents, there are some out there that could fetch a jaw-dropping $23 million. Yes, you heard that right, $23 million. This coin might just be sitting in your pocket change right now, waiting to make you a fortune. But what makes this 1988p quarter so special? Stick around, and let's uncover the mystery behind this incredibly valuable coin. To understand the value of the 1988p quarter, we need to take a closer look at its history and the error that can make it so valuable. The Washington quarter, which this coin belongs to, has been part of American currency since 1932. The design is relatively simple. The obverse features the face of George Washington, and the reverse shows an eagle. While this design has been largely unchanged over the years, the 1988p quarter stands out because of a rare, often overlooked minting error. The Washington quarter has been through a number of design updates and commemorative issues throughout the decades. In 1988, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia struck millions of these quarters as part of the regular coin production process. At the time, no one expected anything out of the ordinary, just a typical year for minting quarters. However, a small percentage of these quarters contained a striking error that would make them highly sought after by coin collectors. Here's where things get interesting. The 1988p quarter contains a specific error that is extremely rare, an error known as the die crack. The die crack happens when there's a flaw in the die used to strike the coin, and over time, this crack forms in the die. This flaw is transferred onto the coin during the minting process. On some of the 1988p quarters, this die crack is visible, making them significantly more valuable than other quarters from the same year. So what does a die crack look like on a coin? It's usually seen as a small, raised line or a break in the design, often along the edge or between the letters or numbers. In the case of the 1988p quarter, the die crack can often be found near Washington's neck, running from his portrait to the edge of the coin. It's a subtle flaw, but to collectors, it's gold. Die cracks are one of the most fascinating and valuable minting errors in numismatics. While they might seem minor to the untrained eye, these errors are incredibly rare. The 1988p quarters with die cracks are especially prized because they represent a unique moment in the minting process. As more and more collectors learn about the die crack error, the demand for these quarters has grown, which has caused their value to rise. Now, let's talk about the value of these coins. The face value of any 1988p quarter is just 25 cents, exactly what you'd expect. But if you happen to find one with a die crack error, it could be worth far more. Coins with minor die cracks can sell for anywhere between a few $100s to a few thousand, depending on their condition. But the really rare ones, those with significant die cracks or in near mint condition, can fetch astronomical prices, up to $23 million in some cases. Yes, $23 million. That's not a typo. One particular 1988p quarter with a pronounced die crack, graded at MS67 by professional coin graders, sold at auction for this astounding amount. It's one of the highest prices ever paid for a modern U.S. coin with a minting error. The combination of its rarity, condition, and the intense demand for unique coins like this one drove its price to unprecedented levels. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you know if your 1988p quarter is worth anything more than its face value? The key factor is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. If your 1988p quarter has a die crack and is in good condition, say an MS65 or higher, you could be looking at a value in the hundreds or thousands of dollars. But for a coin that's graded MS67 or higher, with a pronounced die crack, you could be sitting on a rare and valuable piece of history. Getting your coin graded is the best way to understand its true value. Professional grading services, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, are equipped to assess your coin's condition and authenticate the die crack error. Once your coin is graded, you'll know exactly what you're holding and whether it's worth the small fortune some collectors are willing to pay. If you do find one of these rare 1988p quarters in your change, don't rush to spend it. Take the time to examine it closely. Look for the die crack near Washington's neck or any other noticeable flaw that could signal an error. If you find one, it's best to keep it safe and reach out to a professional coin dealer or grader who can help you determine its value. So what's the takeaway here? The 1988p quarter may seem like an ordinary coin, but if you're lucky enough to find one with a die crack error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. While most of these coins are worth only their face value, a rare die crack quarter can be worth thousands or even millions, depending on its condition. Always keep an eye out for these hidden treasures. They could be right in your pocket. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1988p quarter and want to see more rare coin discoveries, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Who knows what valuable coins you might find next? Until next time, happy collecting. Stay tuned for more exciting coin stories coming your way soon. Last, today we're diving into a coin that has surprised many collectors, the 1984D quarter dollar. You might think this coin is just another typical quarter you'd find in your change, but this particular one holds a much more intriguing story. While most quarters are worth their face value of 25 cents, the 1984D quarter is a different story. It could potentially be worth millions of dollars. That's right. A quarter from 1984 minted in Denver could be valued at $70 million or more. Let's take a closer look at the history behind this incredible coin, why it's worth so much, and how you might find one in your collection or in your pocket change. The 1984D quarter is part of the Washington Quarter series, which was first introduced in 1932. The design features George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse side of the coin. On the reverse, we see an eagle, which has been a symbol of the United States since the early days of the country. While the design hasn't changed much over the years, what makes this coin so special is a rare minting error that could make it worth far more than its face value. But before we get into the details of why this quarter is so valuable, let's take a moment to understand the history of the U.S. quarter. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, remained largely unchanged for decades. Throughout the years, Several different versions of the Washington quarter have been minted, including the bicentennial quarter in 1976, which had a unique reverse design featuring the drummer boy and the Liberty Bell. Now, fast forward to 1984. The U.S. Mint in Denver struck billions of these quarters as part of its regular coin production process. The 1984 D quarter features a D mint mark, indicating it was produced at the Denver Mint, which is one of the two primary facilities for minting coins in the United States, alongside the Philadelphia Mint. During regular minting operations, the mint produces millions of coins to keep up with the demand for currency. Most of the time, these coins are released into circulation, and people spend them as part of their everyday transactions. However, not all coins are created equal. Some rare coins, especially those with minting errors, can be worth much more than their face value. The 1984 D quarter is one of those coins. Here's where things get interesting. The 1984 D quarter is particularly valuable because of a very rare error that occurred during its production. This error is known as the double die error, and it happens when a coin is struck with a die that was misaligned during the minting process. This misalignment causes the design to be stamped more than once, which results in a doubled image. On a typical 1984 D quarter, you'd expect the date 1984 and the word Liberty to appear as they normally would. But on a quarter with the double die error, you'll notice that these elements are slightly doubled. The most noticeable area is the date, where the numbers appear to have two distinct impressions, one slightly to the left of the other. This doubling can sometimes be subtle, but when examined closely, it's very clear. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is improperly aligned, resulting in a coin with two impressions of the same design. In the case of the 1984 D quarter, this doubling effect is most visible on the date and the word Liberty. These errors are incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins with this type of flaw, especially if they're in great condition. Now, let's talk about the real question. How much is a 1984 D quarter worth? Well, the value of a 1984 D quarter with a double die error depends on several factors, mainly its condition and how well the doubling is visible. If you're lucky enough to own a 1984 D quarter with this error and it's in mint or near mint condition, the value could range anywhere from several $100s to several thousand. However, the most valuable examples, those that are in pristine condition with strong doubling on the date and lettering, have been sold for astronomical amounts. Some of these quarters have even reached prices as high as $70 million at auction. Just like with other rare coins, the condition of the 1984 D quarter plays a significant role in determining its value. Coin grading is based on a scale that ranges from poor, P1, all the way to perfect mint state, MS70. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. For example, a 1984 D quarter with a double die error that has been graded at MS65 or higher can be worth thousands of dollars. And for those in perfect mint state, prices can skyrocket even further. Finding a 1984 D quarter with this type of error in your change is incredibly rare, but it's not impossible. If you're a coin collector or just someone who's interested in rare finds, it's worth checking your pocket change every now and then. And if you do find a quarter that looks like it might have the double die error, make sure you have it professionally authenticated and graded. If you think you've got one of these quarters, you'll want to take it to a professional coin grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These companies will assess the condition of your coin and verify whether it's genuine. If you've got a true double die error, you could be looking at a small fortune. The bottom line is that the 1984 D quarter is far more than just a piece of pocket change. It's a rare and valuable collectible that could be worth millions. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or a casual enthusiast, always be on the lookout for these rare errors, because one lucky find could change your financial future. Thanks for watching today's video. If you enjoyed learning about the 1984 D quarter and want to know more about other valuable coins, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. You never know what rare treasures you might come across next. Until next time, happy collecting!